So it's time to talk about the Star Citizen 3.24 update on Evocati at the moment, or the cargo and for freight elevator and personal hangar update. I've been playing it for the past couple of weeks with the updates that have been going out. You might have heard bits and pieces of what it's like, but I just wanted to share some sobering realities to some of you who aren't in Evocati and don't really know exactly kind of what's going on with it. There's some things we need to talk about. Alright, so my name is Dead Leader, and as I said, I've been playing this 3.24 update in Evocati for the past couple of weeks, and you can probably tell by the sound of my voice, it's not going the best. There's so many things that we need to talk about. Like outside of the concept of, is this even something that we want in the game? Outside of like, does it make the game much fun? Look, I don't know. We don't know yet, because I know a lot of other people who are in Evocati still all pretty unanimous in saying that until this is out there in the PU, we don't ultimately know how it's going to affect the gameplay in a bunch of different ways. And when I say like it's gonna, they say it touches every aspect of the game. It does. It truly does touch every single aspect of the game with these changes in ways that we can't even fully understand now. But look, that aside, let's talk about what is actually going on in the Evocati build at the moment. So first of all, I just want to say, I think this is going to take a long time until it's even in like the open sort of waves for people to test out, because it is really fucking busted, you guys. It crashes all the time, and like it does the, you know, the please wait like server kind of reset thing, which is supposed to you know, be better than just a 30k. But at this point, I almost would just wish for 30k, because sometimes you don't know if you've like logged onto a freshly reset up server or if you're on one that's about to die. And it's always that, it's always in every single time there's a build up, you're never on a stable server with it on Evocati at the moment. It's either currently like about to die, or it's recovering from previously died. And there's this thing when it's sort of recovering, you don't know if things are really, if this just needs a second. And so you sort of hang around going, oh, wait by this ASOP, maybe it's just not like reacting to me, or maybe it's acting a bit broken, or maybe I can't access my inventory because like it's just sort of spooling up and you want to give it that bit of time. But then sometimes that's not the case. Sometimes it's just dying and you're just sitting there waiting for it to die, and then inevitably you just give up on even trying to do it because it's just shutting down, like the whole server's shutting down constantly and just things aren't working. So that's one of the bad things. Another thing is like that. See, I've got, you know, you get a hangar for the size of your largest ship, and I don't know if I'm getting one from my reclaimer, which is already pretty big, or one for my pledge for like the Polaris. That's not even out yet, because my hangar is monstrously sized. I have an extra large size hangar, and it's too big. Like, you know, the whole thing was like, oh, you can get smaller vehicles and cars and that, and you can take them out there and then you can load them into the ship. That's just like not reality, especially in an extra large hangar, because, you know, I want to put like pulses and stuff in. The pulse is a tiny thing. You summon it in an extra large hangar, you like can't see it. Like, it's so far away, and it takes forever to like, you know, to bring the elevator. The elevator takes so long to raise and lower each time you want to get something new. It's like a joke trying to get like a pulse out, like a small vehicle. You have to run all the way to it, then like get on it, start it, then take it, you know, to the side to then summon another one, then run back out again. And the thing is, the elevators still have the same problem that all elevators have in the game with vehicles. Like, you know, if you're putting it into like a cargo bay that like raises and lowers, like they bounce around. Like often you'll call like a hover bike or something, or just a ship, and it's like bouncing and lagging as it's being raised. So it's being damaged. And so when it comes up, it's like, by the time it's finally up, it's like lying on its side, all scratched and dinged up. So it's like, what's the point of it even? And yeah, just the massive elevators, like the massive hangars are just like way too big. Like they're supposed to be like personalized, and you'd think like personalized as in you could put your things around and decorate it how you like, but simultaneously it's like it's so big in especially in these extra large hangars, but there's nowhere to put anything. Like there's, even if you wanted to like set it up and personalize it, there's no area to set it up. Like there are a bunch of just the same hangars as usual, right? There's little like pockets on the side and everything, but they're filled with like other crap already. And so you can get couches and whatever, but it's always like you feel like you're just putting them in a hall, you know, in everyone's way instead of like the room that you want to furnish. And so there's no real spot that even feels like it's meant to be set up to be like, oh, that you'd want to put your things out in. You don't want to put your things out. Like there's only a tiny amount of space like all around the actual like hangar elevator. And those little pockets and things to the side are so far away anyway that you have to like run over to them anyway. And like they could have just had, why didn't they just make a whole area cut out that was just blank, that you could have just like parked like cars or vehicles and set up couches and stuff to have around like the old hangar module or whatever? But it's not, it's a completely like overcrowded boring hangar area that there's no real use to kind of do that stuff. It's a real shame with that, like, because I really like personalizing and like nesting and setting up stuff, and I was really hoping to be able to, you know, make my hangar like a cool space, but I just don't think you can do it in this. And then like the actual freight elevator, cargo elevator, like I don't know why I thought this. I swear this was the plan, but like I don't know if you've seen that there's a bunch of photos and that flying around. I won't show them on here because I can't because of NDA, but like people have like summoned up like hundreds of bottles of drinks and stuff, and when they come up on the elevator they're all just out and loose. For some reason I was thinking that when you summon stuff off from the freight elevator like that, I thought it was going to put them in boxes already. Like I thought they weren't just going to be loose. I thought it was going to be that when you use the cargo elevator, it was, say if you're going to say you got like, oh, I want to get like 10 guns, all this ammo, you know, these supplies. I thought it was going to lift them in crates already, and you're just going to activate those crates like, you know, we kind of do already with those ones you can access. But they're not, they're just like on the floor. And so that, you know how many times that like items like stuff are bugged in the game anyway? Like say you get like a drink out and you're trying to take your helmet off, but oh, the helmet just won't drag off into the inventory, and then you try and drag it off and onto the ground, but it's just not dragging off onto the ground, and then finally like it does, it catches up and it's on the ground, and you're like, all right, now I can finally drink this drink, but then you can't put it into your hand and it's just bugging out with that, and then oh, you finally get in your hand but you hold drink but then it won't drink, and then oh, it's finally ready to do that, but now the helmet's magically teleported on. It's, those problems are all still there, but they've just made it so you have to deal with them more because you've got all these single things out that you have to like either pick up one by one or multi-tool, you know, to move like, you know, individual drink. Well, I mean, you're not going to need that. You're always going to have to take that into another inventory anyway. I don't know why they've done it like this. Like, wouldn't it have made more sense to make them come up in boxes, like cargo boxes anyway? So like there's less assets kind of floating around. It's just really bizarre. I feel like it's only going to make more problems for them doing it like this, as so many more entities kind of being loaded up. But having them all come up, it just feels like, especially if it's like an extra large hangar, right? So if you've like, oh, I'm going to need this, I'm going to need this for this mission, I'm going to do this, and then you summon your ship, you've now got to run like so far for so long, and for like each thing, because you can't hold multiple stuff unless it's like they're all small enough to fit on your person. If you've got anything more than just like that, you have to like constantly run back and forth holding, or like tractor beaming, and then, you know, all the tractor beam problems are likely to kick in, and where it's like, oh, it's just like lagging, or it's disconnecting because it's, you know, you've gone too far away from it and the line's too slack or whatever. It's just the reality of like interacting with the objects to even get them out of the hangar into the ships themselves is just a massive it just doesn't work. It doesn't make things easier. There's just these weird bugs that keep happening. Like sometimes you feel like you're sharing the same hangar as someone else, and what I mean like that is, I don't know, it's something to do with like the instance hangars. Like I've had multiple times where I've been playing it where I can hear everything happening as if I'm in someone else's hangar. Like I'll hear like, you know, items being used and the hangar doors opening or closing, and things being requested and stuff as if there's someone around me doing it, but nothing's happening around me. Like weird bugs like that, or just that the elevators, just hangars not working, elevators, freight elevators not working, or not even being able to use like the ASOP to be able to get those kind of happening, or even opening the top hangar doors to get in and out. It's I mean, it feels like these things with each patch coming out from it into Evocati as well, they don't feel like they're being fixed. Like there's just so many more issues that keep popping up with them, or they keep kind of staying, that it's honestly like I barely managed to even make it out of the hangar, because by the time I get into the personalized hangar and start doing all the things like getting this, summing that up, something just breaks before I even get the chance to get out of the hangar itself. And I do have a strong feeling that it's like, you know, obviously they pushed and delayed all these changes and stuff for a while, but I feel like this is going to be something where these problems are going to be constant and they're going to be present. And like the last update where everyone's like, I don't think this should go live, but clearly they had you know, the Fleet Week stuff happening, and they had the Xenothreat stuff, so they had to force push stuff up because they were, you know, there were going to be sales and stuff happening, and they had events that they already planned for that they couldn't miss, and so they pushed it to happen anyway. I've got a feeling that's going to happen again. This is something that's going to go to live with a whole bunch of problems, just like with the persistent entity streaming stuff. And even though it's just not, it shouldn't be. I think we are so far away from this being working. Like, okay, like all those problems I said about dealing with the drink, like those little, like this item things not working or being a bit laggy, I feel like that stuff needs to be sorted before we can be looking at physicalized cargo, you know, like, because there are so many failure points already with Star Citizen that largely for people who've been playing and enjoy it, even with, you know, warts and all, there's a certain amount of things going wrong that you just accept, you know, and you kind of just don't play with some of those functions if they feel like they're being a bit iffy, like, you know, with some inventory stuff. And there's a certain level of that where that's sort of like acceptable, like, well, you know, acceptable for Star Citizen. Like even just elevators, like, oh no, this elevator chucked me out and I died that time. Oh well, I'll load back in or go on another server, and then I should be able to get out of there. And, you know, whatever, that one body being dead is just a whatever. I'll accept it. I'll take that hit. But I feel like there are so many more potential failure points that this brings in, even before you get out of atmosphere, that it straight up maybe a new level of just completely unreasonable for a large amount of players to do. Like, you know, it might be you'll be out on a mission and then be doing this, and then after a couple missions, like, you know, something happens that finally fucks you up or makes it unplayable. But I feel like, you know, but you would have made it through the tram and the elevators and out of the hangar and then out of the atmosphere and then QT, and you would have landed. You would have done all those things, which all have their own potential failure points. But this adds like 5 or 6 new really frequent potential failure points to happen even before you get off the ground, kind of thing, that it's really gonna I would be very, very impressed if they manage to tidy these things up. Honestly, I think they're probably over thinking things. They probably over-engineered a whole bunch of stuff just to hit the brief of that idea of it's going to be physicalized. All the things are going to be there. It's going to be like I said before, they should have just done it. Summons up cargo like storage boxes that have them in. Like, I know that, you have to buy storage boxes. They should forget that, or there should be a charge. You should have an amount of storage boxes that you already have or something, or they should just give them to you for free. Like, who cares? Don't charge for them. Just make it so people can use it. Make it so instead of it's 100 separate items that you get summoned that are all kind of there, you one by one have to manually move. Make it so it's 3 boxes and you just gotta move those 3 boxes over, and then your gear's in that, then take the gear out of there one by one and go put it on hangers and stuff. But no, and you could use those crates like that. You just gotta bring your own crates over there, and you gotta put the stuff in there one by one, then move them over, and then no, it should just come up in it and be a lot easier. And that once again, like for simplicity's point, they should have just made all those little side bays and stuff where they've got little sets made of just items that you can't move around already in. They should just be empty. Just empty. Give us a car park. Just let us park a bunch of vehicles and stuff around and have some, quirky items around in couches, and it'll be fine. But as it stands, you can only kind of like jam a few like cars and stuff just, in really weird looking spots. Like it feels like you're not supposed to be doing it, right? They've just used the exact same model as previously and put the freight elevator in and made the elevator do that. And it's just it's wild, guys. It's wild. There should be something to do with, like, you should be able to say where on the elevator like your vehicles are going to come, so say if it's the pulse, for instance, you should be able to make that come there, like, way closer to where from you're summoning it from. You should have an option where, or you should be able to move multiple vehicles up at the same time, like that would be so much more helpful. Or there should be a separate smaller like lift. If there's these massive large ones, frankly, they should have a whole area that has like a small version of the vehicle lift kind of like tucked to the side, so you can just get smaller ones out, or like small vehicles like the pulses or like whatever, because it looks stupid. Honestly, it looks dumb when you're in one of those things and you get even just like a fighter out and like run constantly to get to it. It's just really silly, you guys. And I don't know. Well, I mean, I do know what, like, they're just trying to get all the functions in and all kind of working, and then they could work from there, and they can, they might find new things they didn't know were a potential positive that they could do, or they might find a bunch of things that, that they can't fix. And it's just, as it stands, you guys, there's so many holes in it, and they all touch on the things that already break all the time that we're all kind of used to, but this is so many more of them, and it's so slow to get through it all that if you do manage to get through it all, great, but it's so unreliable that it's so slow that by the time you get through it all, you're lucky if the whole game hasn't crashed or restarted, and then you don't know if it's going to recover correctly. And yeah, look, guys, I think this is going to be an Evocati for a fair while longer. And then, in the waves for a while until the next, I don't know what the next big kind of event is. I think, is it IA? Maybe, yeah. I mean, I think that the push to 4.0, I think, well, they have to go live with 4.0 around IAE, hey, because there's so many more things being introduced by then. There's no way they're not going to. They'll 100%, they'll push this way too early to live, and we're just gonna have to deal with it, I think, because CIG have proven that they don't care if a thing's not ready to go, if it's meant to be up for a marketing deadline or like event deadline, because they are the big sales points of the year that these kind of things need to be out. Look, it's a big concern, you guys. Let me know if you've got any questions in the comments below. I'll happily answer anything I can. even the cargo hauling missions, I've had like a little look at, but I've read a bunch of stuff on them as well. It's hard to even get to a point where you can do them to really check it out. So that's tough in itself. But I mean, there are interesting kind of like bugs with that already. It's apparently so easy to steal from people doing those things. Like if someone is getting any kind of cargo out at a, anywhere at like a landing site or something, if they summon the cargo up, apparently all you have to do is go up. If you're to someone else doing it, you could be someone not in their party, you can see someone else doing it, and to steal all their cargo, all you need to do is lower elevator, the freight elevator, and it goes, oh, this is a new player. Your items that you've loaded in here, okay, I'll lower them down and put them in your inventory. So all you have to do is press one button to lower it, and they've stolen everything. Like, so if it was a mission, all those materials, they've got them now, it's theirs. All they do is one button to grief you. It's wild. But yes, leave any comments below. Let me know if you're also in Evocati, you've been playing it. I'd love to hear your own personal thoughts of it. I'm sure everyone else would like to read your comments below. Let me know. Once again, my name's Dead Leader. I'll see you out there in the verse.
Leader.